Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a thought-provoking video. So if you're not into thinking outside of the box and actually question malice and bad behavior, then this video is definitely not for you. When you're talking about serious topics, if it comes down to politics, police brutality, race, it becomes a touchy subject. It's territory that nobody ever wants to discuss because it's triggering. So I will say this. This video is definitely going to make you think. It's definitely going to give you all types of emotions. And that's pretty much the purpose. I'm hoping that people can think it beyond themselves and kind of just see what's actually happening here. So in this video, I am going to discuss the death of Christopher Mitchell. And for those who do not know who this person is, it's a young man. He died back in December. So this isn't a new event. It just resurfaced and I just saw it. So Christopher Mitchell died in December. But before, we go any further, I want to be able to allow you to opt out of this video and go. Because I'm going to keep it all the way a buck. In this video, it might make you mad, it might make you sad, it just might make you just, I don't know what it might do for you. But what I want to do on my platform is to be open and honest about everything. Whether I stay at the small subscribers that I do have or if I grow, I always want to be open and honest, and I also want to touch on subjects that don't relate to makeup. And I feel like people who have way bigger platforms and bigger voices should say more. Like, you're more than makeup, you're more than gaming, you're more than whatever it is that you're doing. You have a voice. So when you see things, it would be nice from time to time that you touched bases on these things. But nonetheless, again, this is the opportunity for you to go ahead and click out of the video. I have created playlists if you're interested in any of those other things that I have going on over there in the playlist. Go ahead and watch one of those, or you can wait to be notified when I do something that's a little bit more chipper. Okay, so today we're going to have a serious conversation. Alright, so go ahead and I'll see you later. Leave a comment down below and say you dropped by, but you gotta go. And I will talk to you soon. Well, the only reason why I'm talking about this is not because it's another case of the police killing another black man. I just had a conversation with one of my co-workers. History is literally repeating itself. And I don't know if this is what is being referred to as making America great again, but this is not it. Christopher Deandre Mitchell was a 22-year-old man who died on December 9th of last year. To go into his character a little bit, when he got approached by the police, he actually was committing a crime, or he had committed a crime. The car he had stolen, the owner had saw him drive past with the stolen car, which, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Kids are not the brightest these days. If you're going to steal something, like, why are you riding in it? But nonetheless, it's nor here or there. It's just me being old school. I just don't know where some of these kids, I don't know how they process certain stuff, so ignore me. So the owner of the car saw him drive past, so he pulled up into a parking lot. And when he had pulled up into the parking lot, that's when the police officers approached him. So let's now watch the video together and let's form an opinion on what was done. And if you feel like anything was unnecessary, or if you feel like something was appropriate. Just keep in mind that this is someone's child. Also keep in mind that this could be you, regardless of whatever skin color you are. Something like this could happen to you. If not you, it could happen to your kid. So, before you start commenting foolery in my comment section, I'm going to allow people to say what they need to say, but be mindful that this could happen to you. So be easy with your words, and also be kind, because you don't know who's coming across this video and is going to look down in the comment section and is going to come across your ignorance. And if you are disrespectful to the person who is no longer here to defend himself, or even to the families of the police officers, because their families, I do understand, need to be protected as well, because they're not responsible for the ignorance that their loved one did, period. And that's on both ends. On both ends. So let's watch this together.
What are you doing here, man? Don't move. Don't move.
I'm sorry,
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
So you see the police officer approaching Mr. Mitchell, right? He has a flashlight on, and I believe the flashlight is connected to his gun, or at least that's how it appears. Like it's at the, I don't shoot guns, so I don't know how this works, but it looks like there's a light underneath the barrel. Is that right? Okay. So he has it pointed at him. You can also see that Mr. Mitchell's hands are in clear view. Like, with me looking at the video, the tone of the tone of Christopher's voice was non-threatening. I understand that he had an air rifle in between his legs. So, and that's something I didn't say at the very beginning. But, so his hands were in clear view. You kind of see it do, you know, one of these a little bit like, I guess it was like nervous energy, not knowing where to place his hands. But you can see that his hands was by the steering wheel, came down a little bit, but still in clear view. The police officer prompts him to get out of the car. The flashlight is cut off. The young man apologizes. I guess he was trying to get out the car, and you can't see because, which I don't understand. So if you had the flashlight on, you had it on, so you can see him, and if you can identify a weapon in the car, why wouldn't you keep the flashlight on? So he's getting out the car. Bam, you shot him. He screams. Well, he says, no, no. And then you proceeded to shoot him 2 more times. How will you threaten Officer 1? Because I think in the community briefing, we'll talk about that too. They identify him as Officer 1. Their names aren't released, so who knows who they are, for the protection of, I guess, of them and of, you know, their families. What was Mr. Mitchell doing that made you feel threatened that you had to use deadly force? Like, at what part of that video did you feel the need to use deadly force? He's not touching anything. So I'm confused. We're going to watch the rest of the video, but it's like, how do you explain it?
Don't move, man.
Don't move.
Back up. Let us see your hands. We need to help you. 417. Hey, get back here, man. We got a gun in his lap. He's still talking. Don't move, man.
He's still talking where? You saw how the police officer is backing away from the car. You can hear the other ignorant police officer cursing and carrying on about, keep your effing hands up. I feel like now you're putting, how it comes across looking at it, you're putting on an act. And if I didn't say where this was located in Torrance, California. I want to say that I said it, but if I didn't, there you go. It was in Torrance, California. So anyway, you can hear the other officer being ignorant, telling him to, you know, keep his hands up. Then you have the first officer that's telling his partner over there to back up and get away from the car. Why so? So after shooting an individual, you don't even assess to see what the status is. If you felt threatened because, as you heard in the video, there was a gun visible, you were already at the door. Like, you were already in the man's door, and he didn't even touch it. He didn't even touch it. So, again, why was this necessary?
Before we're with them, get FD rolling. We have one suspect who's armed with a handgun, and we're checking on him now.
It's a long gun.
We are on the east side of Ralph's with guns facing East Mountain.
Gonzo, it's a long gun.
Side of Ralph's.
He's got a long gun, so you can't see him. Hey, we need a unit up here on the left so we can get cover.
Okay.
Can we move that unit up to the left?
I'll move it.
Just push that shopping cart.
Do you know how many inside? Just one.
All right, perfect. Do you have an angle there where you can see him?
I can see his knee.
Hey, my man, if you can hear me, you need to get out and lay on the ground where we can see you. You got to do this so we can get you some help. Get out of the car and lay on the ground, and we'll be able to help you. We're going to need a sergeant with a shield to approach.
Like, was the police officer even aware of his actions? You shot him. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. So if he's not responding, you, who is supposed to protect and serve, what are you doing? You keep pointing the gun in the direction of where this man is located, but again, you're putting on the act for your body cam, clearly. I'm not saying I don't want to get this misconstrued. I'm not saying that police officers are not scared. I'm sure they are. They come into contact with lunacy on a regular basis. I get it. I don't know what it's like to be a police officer, so I don't know the fears of what a police officer might feel going to work every day or however many days of the week. I get it. But you guys are developing a horrible stigma. So if you're that trigger happy, and if you're that scared, I believe wholeheartedly you picked the wrong line of employment. Like, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be uncertain. But lives are being lost because your nerves are wrecked. So in this part right here, I'm still confused. You're calling out to a dude that you shot a couple of times. Mind you, you have a partner. There's you. So I'm going to assume each one of you have guns, right? So even if, God forbid, even if he had his hand on the trigger and he was pointing the gun, it was dark enough that no one could, at least somebody could have wrapped around the car to make sure that you were covered, whoever, to unarm this man. I don't feel like deadly force was necessary. I just don't. So this young man at the age of 22 had to lose his life behind what? Did he commit a crime? Yes. But I'm still so confused. Let's finish this because I'm going to keep going on and on and on.
74, if we can get a sergeant with a shelter location, no officers are hurt, and we're still trying to get compliance from the suspect.
Do not reach for the gun.
You have a long gun on his lap. He is down, and guns are facing eastbound of the east side of the parking lot.
I'm just in awe. So his mother, her name is Charlene Haynes. She wanted people to see this, and then that's why it resurfaced. I saw it on the Savoy Show. If you don't know who the Savoy Show is, please go to Instagram and go follow him. He highlights the foolery that we are now experiencing in this era that we are living in. And he highlights the bigotry, the racism, the inappropriate behavior from everybody. It's literally just not white people, and I want that to be clear. But we're going back in time, and it's just like, Lord, it's like we came so far in unity to just backtrack with all this like this hatred and contempt for each other. I wanted to bring this to your attention because I want you to, one, see the video. Granted, this was in December, but a life doesn't have a time frame to get their story heard. Regardless of how long it's been, this young man's story or the whole scenario needs to be addressed. So the chief of Torrance Police Department, she came out with a community briefing on April the 24th because I guess, once, the mom gave the okay for the public to see, it stirred everything up all over again. In that briefing, I will leave the link down in my description box so you can go see it for yourself. I'm not going to watch that with you guys because I personally feel like that whole situation was BS. It just was. Even coming from I understand, again, I can't stress it enough. I can understand what a police officer goes through. I can understand procedure. And I also went on to their website. It was like torranceca.gov to see what their policy is for use of force. And I am going to leave it at the end of the video, and you can pause and read it at your leisure, and I will also leave the link down in the description box so then you can read it for yourself. I feel like we all need to be enlightened with laws and policies and procedures, so there's no way that we can clock anybody if we don't know what we're talking about. So in that community briefing, to make a long story short, at the end of it, they listed Mr. Mitchell's entire criminal history. Again, we already established that this man is a criminal, was a criminal. We get it. He stole cars. He was a thief. He was a thief. He never killed anybody, endangered anybody, period. Not saying that, stealing is not a crime. But all that to say, where was the significance of you listing his criminal activity? To me, as a citizen, I'm not even a citizen of California, but to a human being, I feel like the reason why the Torrance Police Department felt the need to list that man's criminal history was to say, hey, yeah, we know he died and all, but he was a criminal. That's one less criminal on the street. You should have said that. Because that's what I got from it. Because I didn't understand the correlation between the two. Like, why are we even talking about this? Yes, you can say, I caught him because he was in a stolen vehicle. But to list everything that he did, he was 22. Did he not have the opportunity to grow as an adult and to change? No, we took that away from him because he made some poor decisions. I hope and I pray that his family will go down fighting because it was hurtful to see. You never want to see anyone die on camera. But this is a baby, literally a child. My daughter will be 20 in a week. And I don't know what I would do because she's out and about. She's living her adult life. I don't know how I would feel if someone took her life prematurely based on what they thought of her. Or my son. He's 16, going on 17, because he's a 6 feet 3 inch black man. The sight of him, and he has autism, so he could easily answer something inappropriately or be extra blunt, not thinking anything of it, and then shoot him because of his stature or his past or whatever the case is. When I used to be a resident counselor at a behavioral center and dealt with at-risk youth. Now, were there some that could get aggressive? Sure. They had mental illnesses that could go from one high to one low, and you'll never know who you get when you come in. Can that be a little nerve-wracking? Sure. But dear Mary and Joseph, if I was a scaredy cat, that may not be the place to work. You know what I mean? Because with unpredictable behavior comes a little intimidation. So if you're incapable of staying, and even as me as a nurse, you don't know what you're gonna run into. You don't know what emergencies you're gonna have to come across. Can't go to work being scared every day. I may have to do CPR on a person. I may not. But if I'm scared to maybe break a rib to save someone's life, then maybe I don't need to be a nurse. And maybe if these police officers understand there might be a shortage or whatever the case is, but I need whoever's doing the hiring, the commissioner's office, whoever's doing the hiring for these people need to do a thorough background check, mental status, something. I hope that I'm leaving something that is going to make you think a little more before you react. Be mindful of that your actions, even though you may come across like, I don't care about what people say, I don't care, I'm going to do me, I'm going to do whatever. And these are for my young ones. And even some ignorant, well, clearly there's some ignorant adults walking around here. But your actions will cause a reaction. The dirt that you do, karma's right behind it. So that's why you should treat everybody with kind and with compassion. You can have your differences. You can have your preferences. I'm okay with all of that. But what I'm not okay with is blatantly being disrespectful and prejudiced, or just racially profiling because you're scared, or of the stereotypes that you have heard. You automatically assume everybody in that racial, in that ethnic group is like that. My heart goes out to Christopher Mitchell's family, and I pray that his mother continues to have strength to get her through this tough time. And for the police officers who were caught on camera, I want you, even if you don't get any jail time, I want you to play this video over and over again and to look at it to see what you could have done better. Even if you feel like you've done everything that you could have done in that situation, which I know that you could have done something better. This needs to be a teaching tool for you both to not repeat this again. And if you have children, think about them and how you would want a police officer to approach them regardless of their background. How you would want a police officer to approach them. Who cares if you're white? But put yourself in that whole state of mind. What would you do? How would you react? Would you want your child who is now gone, all their dirty laundry aired out to kind of justify the death? How would that make you feel? And for the person who delivered all of that information, dear Mary and Joseph, your work ethic, your morals, your spirit is so, like, Jesus, who forced you to do that? The moral compass nowadays is horrendous. I am a woman of faith. I am not the most obedient person in the world when it comes down to going to church and being amongst other God-fearing people. But what I will say for certain is that I conduct myself the way He wants me to. Do I curse? Sure I do. But I treat people the same exact way I want you to treat me, and the way that I want you to treat my children. Because that's one thing for certain. I'm that type of mother that will drive to wherever their child is, and if someone's doing the most to my kid, oh, now you have a problem with me. That's who I am. I'm also like that with my friends. Hey, 40 years and everything. I'm almost 40. There's a problem? Hello? I'm there. We just gotta pray that we do better and start loving each other more, start listening, and have more understanding on where each other is coming from. Nothing is ever one-sided. But let's not be oblivious to the shift that we're dealing with right now. Recognize it. Recognize it. And what are you going to do as an individual to better the situation for today? You don't even have to be a police officer. Just think about how you conduct yourself on the day-to-day. I just wanted to share this tragedy with you guys and have an open discussion and to get you to start thinking a little bit, and how you can make a difference, and how you're willing to make a change, and even in your community or whatever moves you. And even if you're here on YouTube, how can you use your platform, whether big or small? What are you going to do with your space? Continue to act like none of this is going on around you? YouTube entertains billions. So if there's enough of us bringing attention to the ignorance, to the violence, to the prejudice, to the racism, to the bigotry, don't you think something can change? The only way we'll know is by doing it. I'm going to leave you there. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. I'm okay with that. Like, that doesn't hurt my feelings at all. But I will be making more videos like this that provoke my thoughts, and I feel like will provoke yours as well. I'm going to. I feel like as an adult, if I see something wrong, I should say something. Okay? So I'm going to. So if you want to connect with me on all my social media, you can find me on everything Thalia's Eye Candy. That's on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. And then I also have a second Instagram account, and it's called Beauty from the Inside Out 365, where I discuss the inner beauty, more of the interior kind of situation that we go through all the time. So that's hair care, skin care, eating healthy, attempting to eat healthy, exercise, spiritual healing, daily affirmations, all that good jazz is what we do over there. Be kind to each other, and I will catch you all in the next. Bye.